actually able to sign in. We had about as of when I walked in here, 315, 320 people registered. There it goes.
Wow.
All right, welcome
a lot
to
of Joanne's followers.
What's that?
A lot of Joanne's
groupies.
What? Yeah, her groupies. That's right.
Welcome everyone to Desktop Time. We want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule this month of June, this first day of summer, as my sister reminded me this morning. We're out here in California where we're actually having a very warm day for us. We're in Central California. So actually Yvette can attest to that. So it's been hot here the last few days, but still happy to have everyone here. And if you haven't joined us before, Desktop Time is sponsored by Hubdoc, and essentially it's about letting people know about resources that you can use in support of your desktop. And basically just the objective is to reassure people that yeah, there's a lot of good cloud resources and ways you can get the best out of the cloud, but you don't have to move your whole life there if you're not ready to, or if for some reason your application doesn't need you to do that at this point. So again, our objective each month is just to introduce some excellent guest hosts. Like today we have Joanne DelBalso and Yvette, and then also introduce you to a product that can integrate with desktop. Today we have Jamie Schulman here from Hubdoc. And so I'm actually going to just introduce you to all of them very quickly, reading their bios that we have for them. So starting with Yvette, thank you again, Yvette, for joining us today. Yvette is the owner of YMS Bookkeeping Services, has been serving small businesses since 2006. Yvette is passionate about helping small business owners and teaching them the power of knowing their numbers and what it can do for their business. She's a member of the American Institute of Professional Bookkeepers, the National Association of Certified Public Bookkeepers, Walnut Creek Chamber, Intuit QuickBooks Pro Advisory Group, and Xero Certified Advisory Group. She's a certified public bookkeeper, certified QuickBooks Pro Advisor, and Xero Certified Advisor. We also have Joanne DelBalso here today. Hello, Joanne. Joanne's quirky and fun sense of humor, coupled with her natural talent for teaching and training, is what keeps her clients coming back for more of her engaging and groundbreaking consulting. Her passion is teaching others, whether it's a QuickBooks training or showing a client how to truly get organic engagement from their Facebook business page. Joanne's in her element when she can teach and train others. As an enrolled agent and the owner of No Fuss Accounting Services since 2007, Joanne learned how maintaining an online presence was crucial to a thriving business. Be Socially Awesome was born when Joanne saw that many small business owners struggle with the basics of social media. She loves it when a client gets the aha moment and everything starts to click during one of her training sessions. And then last but not least, we do have Jamie here on behalf of Hubdoc. And Hubdoc gets your key financial docs in one place automatically. Their quote is, say goodbye to chasing documents and data entry and say hello to increased productivity and automation. Every time a document is uploaded or fetched, the Hubdoc seamlessly creates transactions in your accounting with key data inputted and source documents attached. Hubdoc integrates with leading accounting software and cloud storage platforms. Okay, that was a mouthful. So welcome to everybody. We're very proud and pleased to have you with us today. Again, our objective today is to, first of all, allow Yvette and Joanne to introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about your practice, how you've been using resources like Hubdoc to integrate documents with your desktop QuickBooks. And then we'll turn the floor over also to Jamie. Jamie, you can feel free to interact at any point as well. But let's go ahead and start off with Yvette. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your practice.
Well, I think you said a lot of it in the beginning, but yeah, I've been in business for quite a while now. I guess a little bit over 11, 12 years, and my business has grown. I have a team of 5 now, and part of the reason why I've grown is because people like Joanne and other people that I'm connected to in our community that have given me insight to grow my business and what I needed to do to use different tools like Hubdoc and Hubdoc. We use a couple other tools as well, but it's been a great ride. I mean, there's times where there's ups and downs, but on the whole, it's been wonderful. I love the community that I'm with, like Joanne and Gina, Seth. There's a bunch of people that, Mariette, you, Chris, you've helped me so much with my desktop clients and getting them on Hubdoc, and Hubdoc is awesome. I love Hubdoc because it's so easy to get documents now, all in one place. As before, you had to log in to your clients' accounts, and some of them have a zillion accounts, and you have to go to each one account to pull what you want, or either wait for the customer to give you, the statements. Hubdoc has totally done away with all that and has made our job a lot easier. And so I love it. I love having all these little tools that make us, work smarter and not harder. So that's what I have to say. And I'd like to, let people know how we use these tools and what it's done for our business, So.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you, Yvette.
Too about it all.
Thank you very much. And Joanne,
Yes.
tell us about your practice and your interaction with Hubdoc. And
so I've been in business for almost 10 years. It'll be actually 10 years in October on my birthday, October 12th. I do have an Amazon wish list if anybody wants to go check it out. But currently I have a staff of 2, and in addition to myself, and most of my clients are across the United States, which means that it's integral for me to be online, either through QBox or using QuickBooks Online, or having products that makes it easier for me to be able to interact with those clients. I use Zoom meetings to be able to meet with my clients, and being able to just have the stuff all integrating all together just makes my life easier. When it comes to QBox and Hubdoc, the majority of my clients, one of their major pitfalls that they have is the fact that they're not organized. Okay, they are not organized when it comes to their documents, when it comes to keeping receipts. And what Hubdoc does for my clients, whether they're online or desktop clients, is first and foremost, it's the center for them to be able to have all their receipts in one place. So they can easily use the app that Hubdoc has and be able to snap pictures, and brings it right into the web interface so that I can easily be able to check things. They have a tagging system so that I can have the clients tag when I need to be able to, have them organized by departments, all that kind of stuff. And being able to, like Yvette said, a big thing for me is just having all the statements come to me, right? I mean, in addition to, even if you have bank feeds connected and stuff, you still need to do a bank reconciliation. You still need to be able to see those statements, and having them all in one place just makes it so much easier. The last thing that I would like to say when it comes to what Hubdoc has to offer that a lot of people don't really realize at first is the fact that a lot of the banks offer, Hubdoc can pull in CSV files. As far as PayPal accounts and as far as a lot of the banking, you can get the CSV files. And for desktop clients, most of you should know that with a CSV file, you can easily bring it into Excel, and you can do a copy and paste and batch post a ton of transactions all at once. So that's big when you're trying to start a client for the first time. You connect the bank feed, it only goes back 3 months, and you need to get those earlier months. That's an easy way to be able to connect it to Hubdoc, get those CSV files, and be able to save so much time than having to data enter everything all at once.
The other thing that I love about that too, Joanne, is that when you have a team, they have easy access to them.
Yep, exactly.
And that really is a big plus.
Yeah, no more emailing the client. I need your security code. I need your password. It's like it's already there. It's already in your Hubdoc, and you don't even have to worry about it.
I don't know if you saw the chat feature. Marriott's joining us on chat saying, Yvette should show us her Hubdoc app.
On my iPhone, yeah. I love using it. As a matter of fact, last night I was putting in some receipts. And what I love about it, too, is the feature that it has where you could also assign, how to code it.
Mm-hmm.
That is so awesome. I just love that. And having it on my phone.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate too what Joanne said. We, a couple of months ago, one of our desktop times, we had people that were frantically typing in, I think a lot of financial professionals saying, oh, this doesn't take place of doing a reconciliation, and this doesn't do away with the need for doing those functions, which is true. Mm-hmm. But the reality is it just makes those documents much more accessible. So you, just like you said, is working faster, smarter. So those pieces of information are available. You can access them readily as opposed to extracting them from different places. But again, just as you said, not saying don't do a reconciliation, don't go through that process of checking off your cleared items. Just gives you a much easier way to access that information coming from the secondary source. So tell me, either one of you, Yvette or Joanne, what would be a most common instance or common type of client where you would use Hubdoc? And I know you mentioned bank statements and pictures and some other things, but can you make that a little more tangible, specific client types of documents? Are they attaching them to specific transaction items? Are you just saving them and using them for data entry, or how are you integrating them?
For me, what I do is I have it inside the Hubdoc for when information comes in and I'm processing them, you know, whether it's, so say for example, I do have the bank feed connected inside of QuickBooks, and let's say I'm doing all the matching and stuff like that. And then there's times where they bought something, but I have no clue what it's for. Hubdoc is there. The client has already snapped the receipt. I can just go into the Hubdoc. It has the OCR capability where you can just search for whatever and find the vendor and be able to find the receipt like that and be able to see what it was for to help your coding. So it just saves so much time than having to have the ability to have to email the client a list of questions and stuff like that. Like if you get your clients to be what I like to call proactive in their accounting, which means get the receipts in one area right from the get-go instead of pulling the information and being reactive after the fact. You know, that after the fact bookkeeping, it just takes too long and it's too time consuming. So training your clients right from the get-go to be proactive and say, here's the app, it's only like $20 a month, it'll save you so much time, you never have to send me bank statements, you never have to upload them individually, they don't have to take the time to download, you don't have to have separate access. It just literally saves so much time, and it gives them the ability to be able to have all their documents, all their receipts in one place. And I will say this, as far as for those of you who may be familiar with the desktop version of document management and how, yes, you can attach receipts inside of desktop. However, if for some reason you decided to ever leave desktop, it is difficult to be able to have, like they have like a separate little attachment folder with all these individual folders with weird numbers to be, it's hard for you to be able to have all your receipts back if you ever left the desktop and have it in an organized fashion. With Hubdoc, if you needed to leave, it's so easy. Not that we would leave, Jamie, but if for some reason it's just so easy, it's literally like 2 or 3 steps, and you can have all your documents back. You can't do that online. QuickBooks Online, you can't do that on desktop.
Right. Yeah, just to attest to that, that was one of our engineering challenges. That archive folder creates a unique nested folder for every single item that's
for QBox.
Yeah. I can hear exactly what you're saying. If you were going to try to recoup all that, you'd have a bunch of folders, and then you'd have to go in and extract the particular item from each of those folders. So that definitely makes a lot of sense.
The other nice thing about Hubdoc, not only does it retrieve, you know, your documents for you, like for some of my clients, I have to match the deposit to a particular invoice. You could pull up the deposit. It shows you each check that comes in that deposit. So say you got a deposit that's probably about $10,000, but there's maybe 4 checks in there for maybe all the same amount. And it tells you, it has a copy of that check, you know, that was deposited, and then you could match it up to that particular invoice, that client, or whatever. And that's a really nice feature. I love that. And even checks that are being cashed, you can retrieve that through Hubdoc as well. That's every day. It's just coming in. It really makes our job so much easier. And I've implemented it. I'm starting to implement it with all my new clients now. I mean, it's going to be part of my engagement now, that they have to sign up with Hubdoc.
Okay.
Right.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
So we do have Jamie here, and actually I saw the messaging. Someone was asking too about a demo, and Jamie, are you equipped and ready and prepared to do a demo for us on Hubdoc today?
I absolutely am. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you okay.
Somebody,
now, Jamie, Jamie and I have only talked one time, and actually at Scaling New Heights a few weeks ago. And what Jamie doesn't know, which I'm not going to show today, but I have video footage of the salsa party. Where you were dancing with Hector and Mariette and that whole thing. So and it was too big to upload to YouTube, and so I just said, but I'll always have that, Jamie. So you better be good to me, man. I've got that video on my computer. But I think you're okay. Hector was a little more gregarious and outgoing. He kind of stole the show. But if it was Dancing with the Stars, I think Hector would have won. But anyways, I've got that on you, man.
I have three quick thoughts on that. One is, please don't ever show my daughter for a host. I have credibility there that I need to keep. Number two is Chris from our team, from Hubdoc, is 6'7", and he was in there. So thankfully he's up there. You know, and my third thought is it was a long day. I promise you. Anyhow.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the Chris guy, because from more than a few people I heard, he's that tall guy from Hubdoc. So he was noticed, I think, by more than a few people. So you need to get like a sandwich board sign on his head or something, because he was, everybody recognized, picked him out, I think.
Yeah, I heard a couple of muy guapo, muy alto.
Hey, that's pretty good.
which I liked. In any event, I'll tell him. I've never been blackmailed before publicly. It was great.
It's a new experience.
I'm proud of I try.
Yeah. So, and by the way, we're texting your daughter off screen saying we have a video of your dad. So
you'd have to Snapchat her if you're gonna reach her.
So anyways, thank you for joining us today on All Seriousness, Jamie, and tell us more about Hubdoc. And I'm assuming you know how to use the Zoom features to share your screen when you get to that point, if you want to show us something on your screen.
Yeah, I'd love to. And should I keep the video on while I do that, or I don't know if we'll see.
It's entirely up to you. You can share your screen and.
I just don't want you to. Yeah, I just don't want you to have to see yourselves. All right, so I'm just gonna. Are you gonna do a fancy introduction of me, like I don't have any of the background of the others, but.
No, well, okay. We'll have to talk offline on that one, because you didn't give me a fancy bio intro.
Okay, I'll
you want to type one in the notes? I'll read it for you right now.
Copy and paste.
There's nothing there, so let me. And given there's nothing there, I'll just share my screen.
Okay.
Let me know if I could trouble you to let me know once you see it.
Okay.
I think it's wanting me to close the video, so I'll do that.
Okay.
So give me one sec. Oh, no, maybe not. So Chris, let me know, and the others too, if you can see the screen.
Yeah, you just started your screen sharing, so we can see it now.
Okay, good. Little bouncing robot there?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yep.
Okay. And now do you see a little presentation? Well, thanks. I sometimes get a little bit excitable, so slow me down or tell me to stop if I do. Especially with a crew like this. But maybe what I'll do is take 30 seconds for a background. Not exciting, but maybe it's just to set the table a little bit.
Okay.
And that is I guess my background is I used to be an attorney, so don't hold that against me. But I feel I need to disclose it. Maybe the advantage of that in this case and what I'm doing is that I have had clients before, different size clients with different expectations and different businesses. So I do understand what you go through as advisors and dealing with clients, because I did that for 5 years, a long time ago, in the 1800s, as my daughter would say. But I left the practice of law about 15 years ago. I was living in San Francisco, and I moved back to Toronto, where I am now, about 11 years ago, and started a previous business with another Jamie McDonald, and he and I grew a previous software business and then ended up selling the business. And the reason I mention that is because the genesis of the idea behind Hubdoc was we had a frustrating experience with our books and getting our books done for our previous business. It was a lot of back and forth with our bookkeeper and our accountant. It was a lot of questions being asked, a lot of requests for documents, and it was really frustrating. But the reality was, it turned out it was much more frustrating for them because we wouldn't get them stuff on time. They'd ask for it again. We wouldn't get, and then inevitably we'd say, it's the 21st of June. Why aren't the books done for May? And they'd say, because you didn't answer my questions or send me the documents. We're still waiting on the bank statements. So we realized there's got to be a better way to do this. And we discovered cloud accounting. This is going back 4+ years ago, and realized this has to be the future. It's not for everyone today, and the products still have some work to do, but it was the idea of a bank feed of transactions being fed through made a ton of sense, but it didn't solve the document. Like our biggest pain point in many businesses is you got to get this stuff to the expert so they can actually prepare your financials and ultimately a tax return. And bank feeds didn't solve that. That would tell you that you spent $10,000 at Staples, but it wouldn't actually say what you bought, which is important to know. For example, is it an asset? In any event, we started Hubdoc. We're right now about 40 people. We're growing like crazy. We actually announced today some funding. So it's a bit of a crazy day today because we're being hit by the media a lot. And we work with thousands of accounting and bookkeeping firms of all sizes, from small bookkeeping firms with one person up to large accounting firms with hundreds of people. And we're pretty excited about what we're doing, and it's early days. Like what you're about to see, there's a ton more coming. I feel like someone's asking me a question. I just want to make sure you can hear me and see me. Everything's all right? I'm not going to be able to, you can still hear me, Chris?
Yeah, we can hear you. You can hear you perfectly.
Okay, good.
We're just muting so that we don't.
Yes.
Okay, great. So anyways, here's what we do. So now you know kind of who we are, and here's what we do. We manage all the financial documents in one place. And what I like to say to people is that's our vision, is I don't want anyone to ever have to ask their clients for documents again, never do data entry again, but you end up with audit-proof books. That's the term we use, which is whatever you feel you need or your client needs in terms of source documents, we'll help facilitate that in one place. So this is quite compelling, it seems, for a lot of firms. I don't want to forget to say something, so I'm quickly going to show that, which is this. For everyone on the call, hoping you can see this VIP concept, I want to make sure that anyone on the call who wants to test out this product once we're done, we give a free account to the advisors for life. So it's not like a trial. We want you actually to try and use it and play with it, understand it, tell us what's not great about it, what is great about it. We've had a lot of success building this product based on feedback. So we give this free account forever, for life, to the advisor to use in their practice or however they want. And then from there, we hope you consider using it more. So I just wanted to make sure I say that because sometimes I forget at the end. And now I thought I'd jump in the interest of time. I'll just jump in. Hopefully you can see the bouncing robot. Chris, I'm just going to log right into Hubdoc here. Can you see that? That I'm logging in?
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I can see everything. See you logging in right now.
Okay. I just sometimes worry about the internet. Up in the top right, do you see that it says Homer Simpson Bookkeeping?
Yes.
Okay, so my son, who's 12, loves The Simpsons. So I've named my fictitious firm Homer Simpson Bookkeeping. And this is what it looks like when one logs in to their practice. It's a bit of a dashboard. For those of you who use QBO, it would be like QBOA. The idea is you can manage your Hubdoc experience here. This is that free account I mentioned. Hubdoc has generously, I'm pretending I'm Homer Simpson, the bookkeeper right now. Hubdoc has given me this free account. Here are my clients. And then up at the top, I can always add clients. It's just an easy way to kind of keep adding clients if you want. And I can manage my staff. We think of users as staff. So I could pick on one of my staff members like Jeff Homer, and Jeff is working on only 2 clients, but I can add other clients. So Jeff can have access to other clients. Nice, neat, rudimentary way to manage which staff work on which clients. So here are my clients. You can see we're building this out to see how many of documents that Hubdoc has for review and status and other things. But I don't want to spend more time here other than to say it's a way to manage it once you're up and running. Quickie Mart is my favorite client. And so I'm going to open up Quickie Mart. And I'll let you tell me, Chris, that you see it says hello Apu.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So Apu is the owner of the Quickie Mart, my client. Up in the top left, you can see I'm in Quickie Mart. But if I scroll over to the left side, you'll see I can always go back to my portal with all my clients, my free account that Hubdoc is generously giving me, and then all my other clients. I can always toggle between them, open them up in other tabs. But again, the magic is we don't want you to ever ask for documents, so we import documents. And then we extract data from them, so you don't do data entry, and then we sync and share them places like QuickBooks or ShareFile or these other, a ton of places, Xero, Bill.com, and many others too, so that you don't you end up with audit-proof books. And to, I think it was Joanne's comment, and I'll get to that, which is we don't need to be a place where you come to. We don't need to be a place that you stay. So we're very transparent and make it easy to send stuff out of Hubdoc, including if you want to leave. We think if people want to leave, they should be able to leave easily. Hopefully they don't. But let me show you how it works. The The importing is the magic, and that's these two buttons. Again, I don't want you to ever ask your client for documents again. So adding an account, the idea is, maybe it could say add a vendor. The idea here is this is not a bank feed. If those that know what a bank feed is, it's not a bank feed, it's a document feed. So I would put in here, Wells Fargo. If my client has Wells Fargo as a bank, and Hubdoc will go, and I'll show you how, we'll go fetch documents. They might put in ADP to get payroll reports, or maybe they use Gusto or Paychecks. We'll get fetch payroll reports. AT&T for bills. I mean, I could keep going on forever. PayPal. These are some of the popular ones. Home Depot that people use. We will go fetch documents. And so I'm going to put in my bank to show you, Bank of America. And so what you would do is you'd click on the vendor, and you would just enter once the credentials. So in my case, there are my credentials. If you do not have your client's credentials, that's fine. Your client can come in here, and it's all part of the packages. As many people at your clients can come in here as you want. We do find that most of the scaling practices are getting secondary or delegate or bookkeeping access to the client's bank accounts, but you don't need to do that. But that seems to be the most efficient because clients don't want to deal with this. Once you put in the credentials once, you would hit add an account. It would ask you a security question here, if there was one, and you would hit update to get all of them. Mine have already been asked, so I won't be asked here. What you'll see is it's going to create a folder called Bank of America, hopefully. There it did, Bank of America. And now what it does, and this is kind of the first piece of magic, is it pulls in all the available bank statements from Bank of America, all historical bank statements, but also check images and deposit images and e-transfers and e-payments and bills, whatever is at that bank site for that login, we pull them in. I guess the second piece of magic will be every night we look for something new and we pull it in. So if a check cleared or a statement was issued or there's a bill due, we pull it in here. You don't have to do anything ever again, or your client has to do nothing, and we pull it in. What people then think is, well, gosh, why don't I do that with my client's credit card statements? So here's an Amex. These are the popular companies. So I'm going to click on Amex. Again, they would put in the client's credentials and hit add an account. It'll connect it. The final one I'll do for fun is a bill, which I like to do I'll do Comcast. Again, put in the credentials just once and then never again, set and forget as we think. I'm going to close this to show you it's created the folder. Comcast will be created here in a second. It's all automated. And it starts to pull in these documents. So here come the the credit card statements you can see. And here comes a Comcast bill. So you're seeing the flow of documents coming in. It's really exciting. We're building out something new, which is when you connect this to a GL, like say QuickBooks, we'll pull in your chart of account and tell you which accounts your client's connected to, like ADP or Comcast or Amazon or something. We'll let you know, so you don't have to guess by coming here and guessing. That is the first thing we do, which is automatically fetch documents from vendors on behalf of your client. And clients love this, love it. If I scroll down, what you'll see is things like, hopefully you can see I'm scrolling. I'm trying to find a check. As you'll see that I'm finding there's hydro bills, here's an IRA, and we pull in stuff like that, statements and stuff from brokerage houses, but I'm not finding a check. Give me one check. There's a check. Please let me know if you see the check on my screen.
Yeah, I can see everything.
You can see a check. Okay, so that's my daughter's hockey team. Okay. It's the only way to show a check is it's a real check. So again, it's statements, it's bills, it's checks, it's all that good stuff. That's the first thing we do, and probably the most valuable. And we have thousands of businesses on here who just have us do that, and that's it. And that's totally fine. But people then ask, savvy, advisors ask us, well, what about those documents you can't fetch, like receipts from a restaurant or something? That's what this button is. And if you can see that, the idea is snap a photo of the receipt. Maybe it's a gas station receipt or a restaurant receipt. Email it in if it's been emailed to you. We will fetch your Uber receipts, but it could be Uber if they're in your email. Email them in, or a vendor sends you an email, an invoice, send it in, or browse the computer. We just launched a big deal with Fujitsu out of Japan. The top 2 scanners, those ScanSnap scanners, you can go right into Hubdoc from their scanner. No work, just hit a button. And we all know at least 5 companies who do this as well. This piece is very important. A whole bunch of companies do this. We think it's a little bit of a commodity in that it's not hard to, it's not easy, but everyone's got an app. You can snap a photo of a receipt. And we think it's very important, but we don't think it ends there. We think we have to automate it more. So this is that piece for the one-off documents. We think that you shouldn't have to snap a photo of your Comcast bill. We'd rather you have us go fetch it. You shouldn't have to download it from the Comcast website and upload it. We should fetch it. Same with all these other ones. And so the last piece is we pull the data out of these documents. So if I were to go to the right side of my screen, Chris, you'll see if I open this, we've pulled out that it's from Comcast, the date, the currency, and the amount. In our case, I'm in Canada, so the VAT, the sales tax matters because it's a refundable tax credit. And if I were to go to a document like Denton's, these are lawyers of ours. They sent us a bill. I had to email that in. Again, we pull in that it's from Denton's, the date, currency, amount. And the best part is for the ones that we fetch, in this case, this Comcast bill, we fetch it. And now what I want to show you is for all these documents, you can just deliver them places. You can see there's a host of destinations, accounting systems like QBO and Xero and Bill.com and Sage and FreshBooks and Intact, and it goes on. And then storage platforms like ShareFile and Google Drive and Dropbox and Box, etc. What we do is you would just want, if you want to send this, you can connect this to a cloud accounting system like QuickBooks. And this is where we're connected to that client's account in QuickBooks. You would choose what type of document it is. In this case, let's call it a bill. The vendor name, you would just want to say it's Comcast. You can do things like the term. So that would be like, due net 15, etc. Class, location, all the other different variables here. Most importantly is the chart of account. You could here choose, say, utilities, etc. You would set this up once and never again because you would save that configuration. It's like a vendor rule. And you can even ask us to auto sync, which means next time, guys, go fetch this bill from Comcast's gross website. And then I want you to actually create the entry in QuickBooks automatically and attach the document there. So you just hit publish. And so we will fetch it and then deliver it, and you do nothing. And when you go inside QuickBooks, which hopefully you can see, am I inside Quickie Mart? I am Quickie Mart. So this is where the documents would come in here, where it creates the entry and attaches the document. I'm not sure why I didn't send that one over. I think it's because it's a dummy bill. But if I were to pull, say my Denton's bill, this is the bill that I emailed in from my lawyer. Over here, under QuickBooks, you'll see we've said, is it Denton's? Yes. It's legal? Yes. You can put in a bunch of other variables and then publish it. This one will publish because it's not a dummy bill. And so that Denton's bill now got created, document attached, and coded correctly. So inside here is my Denton's bill. It will have it coded correctly by the software, the date, the vendor, the amount. There's my little note. And then the magic is at the bottom, we will have the document inside QBO attached at a transaction level. You'll see it's inside QBO here. And so what we've done is, just to conclude there, we go get the document, it comes in, we pull out the data, and then it delivers it to QuickBooks where we create the entry. Finally, I would say people do use ShareFile, Dropbox, Box, and if you do use any of them, you should know that with one click, you can connect these to any of those. So there's a way to set that up, but I just wanted to mention it because people do ask. Feedback I've gotten from people recently, and the one from Joanne, I think it was Joanne that I'm going to mention, is if for some reason you want to get out of here, you can right-click on this button here. Oops, sorry. You can right-click, and you can push this stuff to these storage platforms, or you can download all your files with one click, and we'll save all your folder structures. And then you can come up here to accounts. I like to show this, and you can go to your profile, and you can just delete it. Hit that delete button, and then if you put in your email address and delete it, you're gone. Please don't ever do this, and it rarely happens. Like, nobody does this, but we think it's important. I'm a Facebook user, but I hate that they don't let you get out of there. If you want your documents or you need to get out of here, you can get out of here with one click. We think that's very important for an app, is don't make it difficult to leave. Don't make it difficult to get your documents. They're your documents, not ours. So there's lots more to show, but that's the core of it, is we fetch this stuff like the bills and the statements and the checks. We let you send in stuff like this gnarly Best Buy receipt, and then we auto create entries in your accounting system. if you're connected to a GL accounting system in the cloud, and then attach the documents there. But I would focus on the fetching because that's what 90% of our customers value the most. I'll stop, but that's the kind of quick demo.
Oh no, that's all excellent information, and you have time. So,
hey,
it was
Chris.
funny. I was watching some of the questions flow by. Someone said you should have a little dog icon that shows it retrieving, touching the items each time.
Hey,
That's funny.
Hey, Chris, I thought of one thing to mention. Can I mention one more thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
People do ask us about the pricing, and here's the issue with the price. We went with simplicity. We might eventually have some tiers later because there are people that want less and people that want more. But right now, it's the simplicity is there's no limit on any of these connections, which is why we want you to connect to as many of these things as you can. And then the second thing is unlimited connections. It's also unlimited documents. So you can send in as many of these receipts as you want, and we will extract the data from an unlimited number of documents. It's unlimited users, both at the firm and at the client. And then there's unlimited storage, and it's stored forever. So, and then it's $20 a month per client. What I need to mention though, because I keep forgetting, is we do have a discount program for advisors, which you can see here. If you have 1 to 4 clients, that's the $20. When you hit 5 clients, it goes down by 10%. 25 clients, it goes down to by 20%, et cetera. And I can make this available after. But we found that people that manage this for their clients, there's an opportunity for discounts for the advisor for having multiple clients on Hubdoc. I did also want to show that we do have certifications, which people love, and I don't think we mention it enough. This idea is you can come get certified. Not only do you get a badge, but there's a bunch of videos you go through and you can learn how to use Hubdoc pretty cleanly. Now I will stop and see if there are questions.
You know what I want to mention is one thing that I love about when I scan a receipt, it's instant. I mean, the other day I had Hubdoc up on my computer, and then I scanned it through my smartphone. I mean, it was like quick. It just went right into Hubdoc, and I got to do the coding and what have you. I just love how quick it is.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate you saying that. I should add one thing to that, which is in the interest of, again, candor. So it is quick. It's going to continue to be quick. One thing that people don't realize is for this market, which is numbers-focused advisors doing bookkeeping and accounting, accuracy matters. And so we learned very early in the process that receipts like this get very hard to be read by software. Receipts like this, very hard. Not to mention, restaurant receipts with handwritten tips. And so, just like every other company, we do have a human component at the back end. There are people that are on, call, so to speak, for receipts that aren't going to be read with 100% accuracy by software because we can't have 82% accuracy on the next 1,000 documents. It has to be basically 100 or close to 100%. So I mention that because there are times when we have hundreds of thousands of documents and we see the queue that need to be actually read. So sometimes it takes more than minutes or hours. It might take like a day or more. And so I'm glad that you saw it was quick. There is occasionally it gets longer, and just bear with us if that happens, but it'll still take no longer than a day or so. So, but it should be minutes or hours or instantaneous.
Okay. And we do have quite a few questions actually been coming through, and I was just going to say
that. Should I look at them, Chris, or if I do that, they'll be on my screen?
That I can read them, and we can. Anybody that wants to feel comfortable. The first one I'm going to look at from actually the Q&A is, can you talk about converting to CSV type file?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I was just going to say, as far as the CSV for me is that, and Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, but most banks have that option that Hubdoc can pull and actually grab the CSV file. So once you have the CSV file, the next step would be you bring the CSV file into an Excel file so that you can actually easily customize the columns, and then you can have it in the right order for example, underneath batch posting in QB desktop, you have to be in the accountant's version to be able to use that batch posting, and then you can easily copy and paste right into that screen right there.
You also use converting tools.
Yes, yeah. But the free way would be kind of doing it through Excel, but there's, it's 2QBO Convert or 2QBO Pro Convert. That's the one that I use.
Yeah.
That does it a little bit easier, makes Excel files like that.
Okay. So I think that covered that question. If not desiring to leave Hubdoc, even if not desiring to leave, can we still download our docs for backup storage? So even if
that's this button, right? You can download all your files. It zips them. So absolutely. And if you think of other ways that we should let you get documents out, let's do it. Because again, these are you or your client's documents, not ours, and they should be easy to get out.
Okay. This one, I think, everyone's touched on a little bit. Does Hubdoc work with desktop? We of course know that answer. And I think Joanne just touched on even importing the CSV to an Excel file, formatting it to import it directly into desktop. If a client takes a picture of the receipt, sends to Hubdocs, and deletes the receipt from their phone, will it still be in Hubdoc?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Yep. I do that all the time.
What happens with the banks who are asking security questions, not just login and password? So if they have an additional security requirement to log in.
That is a great question that I did not answer well. And I want to make sure, I feel like I've just done something to I just opened up another account. Let me close this. Are you still seeing, Chris? I just want to make sure I haven't messed. Okay, good. Are you seeing an Amex statement there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Super question, whoever asked that. So here's what happens, and I actually intentionally left this like this for that question, but I forgot to mention it. When you come here and you hit add an account, and when you go into put in the credentials, I'm clicking too many times here. When you go into add an account, let's say you clicked on TD. I'm going to use TD here, and you put in your credentials here. It is here where maybe I'll go back and do my Bank of America example because at least it's real. When you put in the credentials here and you add it, what it does is, I already added my Bank of America. That's not helpful. It's when you first add it, it will add you it will ask you the security question. I need to grab another bank. It'll ask you the security question right below where you asked it, and it'll look like the following. I'm going to scroll down here. I did this on purpose, which is RBC. That's a bank. You see what it says? It needs you to answer a security question. It would have looked like this when I first connected. It would have asked you, in what city were you married, and you would enter it here. In my case, well, I shouldn't tell you what. And then this update button is the one you'd hit, and it would ask you the next security question. Some banks pull in all the security questions in a row, like what's your whatever sister's middle name, what's your favorite, I don't know, ice cream, what city were you married, but some don't. And so the best we could do so far is this update button. At least it'll ask you all the questions, but we have developed a way that works with that. I don't want to say it gets around it. It actually works with it, which is you can answer the questions once and then you're done unless the password changes later. And what's nice about that is I hear all the time, I have staff that, are away and they're sick or something, and another staff member needs to work on that client, but their computer is not authenticated by that bank.
Yeah,
and they got a question. Or I've had people say, we love you guys, Hubdoc. I'm in Spain right now. I'm able to work on my client from Spain because the bank doesn't wonder where I am, because the bank doesn't care, because I'm using Hubdoc to centralize all that. So we centralize, we obviously encrypt, and it's not, no one here can see this stuff. So it's all encrypted and centralized within Hubdoc, so you can do whatever you want, any computer from anywhere. But it's important to note that the security questions are not, eliminated. We actually work with them. We also can handle multi-factor authentication, they call it, with mobile codes. So there'd be a place to enter the mobile code. The only thing, and we can do captures as well. The one thing we cannot do is sometimes banks make you have a little rotating, password on a little token, which is crazy to just view an account. But occasionally, no one can do it. QuickBooks can't do anything with that. We can't do anything with that. It is.
Yeah.
But,
that's brilliant though, because that's the one thing that gets me whenever you're trying to just go onto a bank online is like, oh, it doesn't recognize your computer, answer the security question and stuff. And when you and all you have to do inside of that Hubdoc is just hit update, answer the next security question, hit update again, answer the next security question. So if there's 3 security questions, you answer them once right in a row and done, unless the security answers change or the client changes them purposely, you're good to go.
Yeah, so we're just trying to make your life easier. And if anyone has ideas for, we're hiring like crazy to build out more. So if you have any thoughts on what more we can do on that, we'll do it. This is the announcement. I don't know if you guys can you see my screen still?
Yeah, you can see.
This just came a few hours ago. This is our team. And there's Chris. Everyone else is on their tippy toes here because he's 6'7". And there's me. There's the other Jamie. But anyways, this is our announcement today. But one of the things we did to raise this capital was just to hire more developers and more people in order to do more for you guys. That's literally what we're doing.
Okay, excellent. So the last question I have from the Q&A is, when you mentioned being able to look at checks for deposit, do you mean you have the client scan or take photos of all checks for a deposit?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to do this with as many banks as we can. It typically starts with the big banks, and that is we go grab the checks. Like here's another one from, this is the Bank of Montreal. So we'll grab checks that are available online. If they're not available online, here's the other one I showed earlier from TD Bank. If they're not available online, you could scan them in. I mean, there's nothing we can do if it's not available online, but other than you can just scan them in here. I do know that some people go over here and do connect it over to, say, QBO, and they literally put in there, and treat it almost like an expense, having the receipt, the check be like a receipt. I don't know why they do that, but I'm sure there's a reason. But we just pull the checks in whenever we can. Otherwise, you could just upload them. We are at the end of the day, we can be just a repository. Yeah,
it comes for me, it's real handy when you need to kind of see a big bulk deposit and you're not sure what was in that bulk deposit, and you actually, the bank feed gives you those like microfiche copies of the checks. It just makes your life so much easier to be able to view the check, code the things the way you need to code it, and then it's kind of having that that big shoebox of receipts. It's just right online so that you can be able to access it anywhere.
Hubdoc is such a time saver, especially for people that do what we do. I mean, I just love it. One place and we get everything we need instead of logging into like 10 different bank accounts and different credit card accounts. We just go right here. It's all there, and it's easy for us to invite our team members into this as well.
Okay, perfect. And some of these are redundant for things that Jamie's already answered. What about websites requiring us to change our password every 90 days or so? Well, they're requiring you're probably going to have to change them in Hubdoc also, right? I mean, that's just some way that it is, but you only have to do it one time per requested period, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, remember, I have my lawyer hat on, so like security is very, very important, and we're not here to, like, security is critical, as well as the privacy of the information. So yeah, if someone changes their password, one should have to.
Well, that's the bank. That's the fault. That's the bank's security, not Hubdoc. So if the bank actually makes you change your password every 90 days, you have to then update it inside of Hubdoc. So it's also teaching your clients to have access to Hubdoc. Hopefully you're doing that so that they can use the app and they can become comfortable with it. And show them when the errors come up and the notices come up. They send you emails. Right, Jamie, I just got an email the other day that said my M&T account needs attention. I got an email from Hubdoc. Exactly. All I have to do is click on that email. Your clients will get that same email, and then you can just click on it, update your security stuff, and then you're good to go.
Exactly, and then you get a note like that. Exactly. Yeah. One thing I should mention too is that what we do hear a lot of is, and I think that's why I went down to that PayPal statement, is the amount of time that's saved is more than you can imagine, because we do have firms that and people that measure how much time they take to ask for something, ask for it again, and then get it, label it, download it, code it. It adds up to many hours. So people say they're saving upwards from a third to half or more of their time not having to do all that stuff. So you just may not be thinking necessarily that getting these PayPal statements would be helpful, or the PayPal CSVs. So come check it out.
Okay. And then, like I said, some of these are a little bit redundant. I added a manual account, but Hubdoc didn't ask me any login questions. How is that going to work? Does that make sense? Or?
I didn't know what I meant by a manual account.
Yeah, we'll have to, and actually some of these too, if you have questions after, we'll make sure we get them to Jamie. Yeah. Because we may need some further explanation on what you're asking. And so hopefully covered most of the questions and inquiries. There is one last one I'm going to go through. Maybe I missed this, but can the client put in their own login information so we don't have to ask, or do we have to ask the client for their user ID and password? You answered that. So either you or the client can enter that information.
And I should mention, Chris, that if I come up to my account here, there's an area under, we just call it profile. And in that area, you can scroll and add people as collaborators, we call them. And so this could be either you're adding your client as a collaborator or they're adding you as a collaborator. So you could put in, the client email here, and then it's all included, and they can just get added. As I think Joanne or Yvette, somebody said, it then allows them to start using it, which means they can start sending in things or just have a view of it. It's really nice as a place to collaborate, have all the documents in one place.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and I think I haven't gotten to this point yet, but if anyone has any questions or inquiries, even after our desktop time today, we'll update our website. So we'll have links for Joanne, Yvette, and for Jamie on the website, the desktop time website. And that'll, of course, link you directly to their contact information and or their website. So we make it easy for you to find them after the fact. And so if you have any additional questions, I apologize we didn't get to every single one. There was a lot of good questions. But that only really magnifies the interest in using Hubdoc as a resource for their documents. So that was very good news. And thank you again to everyone. Did you guys have any kind of closing comments, Yvette or Joanne or even Jamie?
I just have to say, whoever's not using Hubdoc should be using it, especially in our practice. It is such a time saver.
Yeah.
It's very user friendly. I have the clients that I have signed up on it. They end up thanking me because it makes their life easier too.
Yeah.
You go to one central place to retrieve those statements or documents, whatever. And Hubdoc does a lot. And I think everyone that's, in our business should be using this.
Yeah.
And the price, $20 a month, really is not a whole lot of money for the time it costs us to go and retrieve those things. So I would tell everybody, get on it right away.
Yeah. And one of the questions that was answered in the Q&A that I answered by text, but one of the comments was, do you charge your clients for Hubdoc or do you pay for the Hubdoc yourself? And I kind of do it pretty much half and half, depending on the type of bookkeeping I do for the client. Most of the time I do just roll it into my cost. It's just cost of doing business. I pick up the $20 or discounted $18, depending on how many, clients you have. I just roll it into the monthly cost of doing business. It saves so much time. It's a time saver for me. And it is such an added value to the bookkeeping and accounting that you can offer your client, is the ability to be able to have this tool for them to use, have the app on their phone. I mean, everything's kind of going a lot mobile now. And when it comes to these receipts, we want to capture them. We want to protect them. We don't want them to fade. And we want them to get to us so that we can be able to do the proper accounting that we need to. So, and again, it's for accountants, it's free. So why not sign up for the trial and test it out yourself, see how awesome it is. And Jamie, I don't know if you got into it too much, but did you mention how many vendors you guys have that you can sync to right now?
Yeah, so we're you see me circling the free account tryout, it's free.
Yes.
And when you do that, come there, click it on, and then we'll I'll make it a free
try it for free.
Oh, for life. And it's for life. Yeah, the answer is we're constantly building new connections, basically based on demand. We're at, I think, close to 800 now.
Yeah, I mean, that's just crazy. It's crazy. I mean,
it's going to keep going. No, but we want thousands. But yeah, it is crazy. We keep building more, and there'll be times where someone will request a bank or something, and we just don't have it yet, and it frustrates us. But we just don't. We raise money to hire more people so we can do more.
But it's not just banks though. It's like what, GoDaddy, AT&T. PG&E. I mean, it's like utility bills. Just go look at the vendors that are available for you to connect to. You don't have to worry about going out and finding all those statements. I had Hubdoc and pull them in.
I had a bookkeeping firm that was representing some real estate folks, and they were blown away that we pulled in all these Duke Energy bills and then Florida Power and like thousands of them. And they said, we have someone in our office that all they do is this, 20 hours a week. is what they do. And so, yeah, in some cases it's even crazier than others, but that's right. It's not just banks. It's all those vendors. Awesome. Well, thanks.
Okay. So those 800 feeds include not only banks, they include like different billable. I saw Home Depot.
Utilities, Wells Fargo, Home Depot.
Payroll, like vendors,
Yeah.
Salesforce. I mean, Walmart. I mean, I'm trying to think. Stripe. So Stripe, Shopify, all those, Magento, all those ones for e-commerce. It goes on and on and on.
Okay.
Jamie, the one follow-up question that Patty had when she was talking about adding a manual account, the first question was she added a manual account, but Hubdoc didn't ask me any login questions. How is that going to work? Her follow-up says, the manual account question, when I click add account in the manage accounts tab, there are 2 tabs, automated accounts and manual accounts. So so in the manual accounts, she's saying, how is that going to work if it doesn't ask you login questions?
Oh, that's a super question, and that we should probably name it differently. Our concept of manual is literally this concept, where it's been uploaded manually, like by email or by a mobile
a PDF.
So or a JPEG. And so if you sent it in, I'm just going to go back to that screen. If you send it in, we create this folder under manual accounts. For example, like it looks like I'm going to have a lot of them here. I'm sorry, but it would be things like these are a bunch of manual. It's crazy, but got to find one. Bor is a restaurant here, or Avis. It was emailed in. So those are just being delivered by email.
Okay.
And upload, and so there's no logging in. It's just you're uploading. Like this Best Buy. Although we actually fetch from Best Buy, but I don't have an account with Best Buy, so I have to send it in like this. It's a good question.
Thank you.
No, thanks.
Okay, so thank you very much, everybody, for joining today. We are almost out of time now, but it was very good information. I actually learned a lot about Hubdoc, and I can just imagine, like you're saying, the time savings associated with it. That's got to take a process that would previously take hours and hours and hours to extract the right information to attach to a particular transaction or reconcile it within a QuickBooks file. So I would encourage everybody to give it a try. I know several people have already commented very positively. So, and if you have any additional questions, you can obviously go to their website. And again, we'll have their information on our website after today. We already have a link, but tomorrow they'll be on our vendors page. So you can access the information from there also if you forget how to get to them. We'll have the link there available to you as well. So just to kind of mention for next month, we have Bill Murphy will be joining us as our guest host. He has not reported who his vendor will be yet. I've been working on that with him, so it may be a big surprise, the big announcement. So we do have our desktop time scheduled through the month of October, so we'll update some of the holes that we had on the website as of tomorrow. But we do want to thank all of you. We know you're all very busy. We know you'd rather be out surfing or doing whatever you like to do in the sun. So we thank you for taking the time to join us. Thank you very much again to Joanne and to Yvette for joining us today and being part of our glorious panel. And thank you very much, Jamie, for sharing with us about Hubdoc. It was very informational. Like I said, I learned a lot myself. So thank you very much to all of you. And thank you again to everyone that joined us. We'll look forward to having you back next month. And thank you to everyone. Have a great day today. And again, we'll hopefully see you in July. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, Joanne.